guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jasmine. So today I've got another speed build for you, and I know I've been posting a lot of builds for my upcoming animal rescue LP recently. I think this is like the third in a row that I've posted on my channel, so I'm sorry about that, but I've kind of just been powering through and trying to get it all organised over the Christmas holidays. I've just been in the zone and I've been really into it, so I hope you don't mind. But I really enjoyed building this one, basically because it's kind of like my dream home in a sense. You know, I love my cozy builds and my cottagey slash farmhouse type houses, and this one is definitely, I mean, it's slightly bigger than a cottage, but it's definitely got a load of beautiful landscaping and a focus on outdoor spaces, which I just love. I would love to live in the countryside when I get a house, so definitely one that suits my channel, I think. So I'm really happy to be sharing it with you, and I've already said that this is going to be a part of my animal rescue let's play. So in case you're new here, or in case you don't already know for whatever reason, I am currently working on an animal rescue let's play that will be basically making the most of the animal rescue mod in The Sims 4. So that's going to be the basis for it, and I've got a whole load of characters in a video that I introduced, so I'll link that down below, and I'll also link a playlist that's got all of the builds so far for the LP, because personally I really love them. There's lots of animal themed builds and some pretty rural builds as well, which is, you know, all the things that I love basically. So I know we've got a vet, we've got an animal sanctuary, cat cafe, and some cute little cottages as well. So yeah, go and check them out. Like I say, they'll be linked in the description box, and I'll also link the playlist in the video itself. So yeah, like I say, this one is a family home, and that is because it is the house that belongs to the protagonist's mum in the series. I haven't actually made her yet as a character. I've made the protagonist, and like I said, I've made I think 4 of the main characters so far, and I've got them in a video on my channel. But there's a couple of characters that are slightly more secondary, and I haven't created them yet, but I plan on doing it after this voiceover actually. So maybe I'll post a few pics on my Twitter or something like that when I create them. But yeah, I don't know what her name will be, but this house belongs to Hazel's mum, and I've explained a little bit about what the history of each of the characters will be before we start the series in the Kaz video that I mentioned. But I'm also going to try and do a prequel video, which will be like a little bit of a machinima to give you a bit of context as to where each of the characters are at when we start the series. So yeah, that will just give you a little bit of history and context for them. And I plan on featuring this house as obviously the house that Hazel grows up in, and you'll see her interact with a couple of characters when she's younger, but also significantly for this video, her dad died. So it's just her mum that lives here when the series starts, and she will have a brother, but her brother will have moved away when the series starts as well. So you'll see me furnish a room as if it's her brother's room, and obviously Hazel's room, and I think there's one other bedroom that's their parents' room. But yeah, obviously her dad has died, which is really sad, so poor Hazel. And you can see me now furnishing like a little outhouse. It's not an outhouse, it's kind of like a converted shed, and it's got a load of laundry objects in there and also a load of animal objects. So she's got a whole load of frogs on that table, and then she's also got, I think I put in something like a hedgehog, a bunny, and a squirrel. And I kind of thought that when she grows up, she obviously goes into the animal rescue career, so to reflect her love of animals when she was little, I've kind of said that she liked to sort of find maybe injured or animals that needed help for some reason, and she would take them in and nurse them back to health and take care of them, and just basically have as many pets as possible and show as much of her love to animals as possible. So yeah, like I said, she's got 3 frogs that maybe she found when she was little and she wanted to take care of, and then obviously the same with the other animals. And you'll see in the video that I actually use CC for those animals, that are the ones in the cages that kind of look like the ones from my first pet stuff pack, but they are actually recolored, so they are CC. And the CC also changes the animals as well to different kinds of animals. So obviously, like I said, I've used in this one rabbits and squirrels, and the CC has other options as well. So it had guinea pigs and chipmunks and things like that. So there's loads of options, and we'll be seeing all of them in the Let's Play. So that will be fun to get to play with a whole load of different animals that we don't necessarily have in game. So I'm really really excited about that. But just in case you were interested in downloading this build, I believe I've taken out all of the custom content when I uploaded it to the gallery. So there will be those objects missing in that room. But what you can do if you have My First Pet stuff is just add in a hamster or whatever that you want to put in there, and that'll kind of fill the gap. So that is why it might be empty if you download it, just because that was CC. But hopefully I've taken them out because sometimes when you have CC in your builds, they don't often show up on the gallery, because if you want builds with CC to show up, you have to specifically tick the box which enables CC to show up, and not very many people remember to do that. I know I certainly don't remember to do that, especially when I'm looking for builds. I kind of prefer for there not to be CC in them, so I specifically don't untick that box. And recently, especially for this LP, I've been uploading a couple of builds with just like the one odd object that happens to be CC, or like using a mod that has a lot trait that is obviously not in game, and so it appears as CC or something like that. So I'm trying to do the best that I can to make my builds accessible to you on the gallery, and yeah, hopefully you'll be able to see this one. But if you ever are in any doubts in future, just try and remember to tick that box, because that will make sure that it will show up if you're looking for something specific and you can't see it. So just a heads up, it is on the gallery. You will have also seen me create the garden sections as well, and I really liked the idea. I think it's quite typical of rural or cottagey type houses to have sectioned off bits of the garden. So we have like a couple of sections in the front obviously, and I added a car which is not usable. It is just a debug object, so that means that it doesn't function in game, but you can just visually have a car in the driveway. So yeah, it's just purely visual, so sorry about that if you got excited. But then around the back I've obviously got the converted shed like I said, but we've also got a greenhouse, and I've put some flowers in there, and there's a flower arranging table in there as well, I think. And I kind of figured that the mum would be into gardening because it's quite an outdoorsy household. Like Hazel, the main character or the protagonist of the LP, she obviously loves animals, and that's because she loves nature, she loves wildlife, and she loves being outdoors too. So I figured it'd be quite fitting for her mum to be into gardening, and kind of also was inspired by me and my mum, because I love animals and my mum doesn't, but she loves gardening and she loves trees and plants. And I think we're kind of similar, but we're also not, because you know, we both love wildlife but for different reasons. So I thought that was really cute to reflect that a little bit in this LP, because obviously I love animals, so this LP is kind of just like my dream. So I thought that'd be quite cute. And there's some other sections of the garden as well. So I think I have like a little herb garden, and that's the one that's kind of next to the shed, in between the shed and the greenhouse. And then in front of the greenhouse, they're basically just big vegetable patches. So we've got a whole load of veg that I got off the gallery. I didn't put it in the video or in the speed build because it's quite tedious just watching me download things from the gallery and then place individual plants into the garden. But if you were interested, if you wondered how I did it so quickly, or you know, you were wondering how you could go about filling up flower beds and vegetable patches like that really quickly, that's something that I do quite often. I just download content from the gallery. If you just search by room instead of by lot, and then type in the type of plant that you're interested in, obviously adding to your garden. So for me, I searched herbs, and then I searched veg, and then I searched flowers, and they came up with like rooms filled with a variety of each of those things. And then I sort of went back and searched individually for different plants if I wanted something specific. Just a nice little tip for you guys. And I know a lot of people do the same thing with painting, so if they're interested in getting specific paintings or just any paintings that Sims have made in game. And also people upload kind of CC paintings, so they're not technically CC, they basically have just got their Sims, I don't know how they do it, I think that maybe they get their Sims to paint patterns that would be from CC, but because they're as paintings in game, they don't actually count as CC, they just work normally, which is really nice. So if you want like a little bit of variety when you're decorating your Sims households, that is a really nice way to mix it up a little bit. I kind of just do the same thing but with normal paintings sometimes, because I don't like the way that CC looks in my game, even if it's not technically CC. I just think it kind of looks a little bit out of place sometimes, even if it doesn't look out of place. Sims, I just know that it's easy, and therefore I don't know why, I think I kind of like my builds to be accessible to people, but also I like the challenge of only using objects that come with the Sims 4. So that can be quite restricted sometimes, which makes it harder, but it also makes it easier, I think, because if you have way too many objects, you don't actually know where to begin. I have that problem with Planet Zoo sometimes because you start with nothing. You're not even a box. Like, the Sims 4 building tools are really, really helpful because it's quite easy to create something out of nothing, whereas with Planet Zoo, you're literally dealing with tiny, tiny little bits and pieces, and you've got to somehow create a really intricate build out of them, whereas a Sims 4, it's quite easy. You just, you know, place down 4 walls really quickly and then add a few objects and paint the walls automatically. So yeah, it's much, much easier in that sense. But anyway, yeah, I have no idea why I'm anti-CC. I just am. So sorry about that. I'm not anti-CC when it comes to my sim or creator sim. I love using CC and skins, and I think it's just because the Sims 4 cows does not look very good, whereas the build mode does look really good. Yeah, I think just the in-game skins and things like that, the textures of them just look a bit ooh. So they need correcting. But yeah, I love using CC clothes and stuff like that. So I don't know, I'm just a big hypocrite, so I'm sorry. But you can see now I'm working on the bedroom. So first up, I start with the parents' bedroom, and it's pretty beige, it's pretty plain, but it's cozy, it's nice, definitely quite adulty. And I didn't really have anything specific in mind for these characters because I haven't made them yet, and so I wasn't quite sure how to reflect their personality. I just kind of put in standard furnishings. And then we also have the 2 kids' rooms. So I made a little pink room for Hazel, and I kind of regret making it pink because in her home as an adult I've already made, and in her clothes and everything like that, she kind of is interested more in sort of oranges, like burnt oranges and browns and autumnal tones, I've said, because her house was definitely a really, really pretty autumn cottage. And I think that's what I called it in the video as well. So I kind of regret giving her a load of pinks because it's quite cliche, and yeah, it doesn't necessarily reflect her. But maybe as a child she went through a bit of a pink phase, because I know I definitely do. I'm sitting in my bright pink kids room right now in my parents' house, and I'm definitely not as much of a fan of pink as I was back then. I mean, I like pink, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't furnish my house with pink now if I had a choice. Yeah, so it was definitely a phase I went through as a kid, and maybe Hazel was going through the same phase, or maybe her parents decorated the room. Who knows? I think it's quite rare for kids to actually choose what their bedrooms look like sometimes in terms of what furniture and what colour the room is. Maybe in terms of the colour of the room, I got to choose the colour of my room, but I had no choice in what furniture I had whatsoever, so maybe it was just a matter of what suited the furniture. Who knows? And it was quite subtle, but I tried to add as many animals to Hazel's room as possible, because obviously this is an animal rescue let's play and she's the main character, so she is gonna love animals, right? And so I added a load of cat and dog figures and some of those nifty knitting toys as well, the ones that are shaped like animals. I gave her a fishbowl, and I think that was it. I was gonna have more animal paintings on the walls, but they didn't really suit the bedroom, so I ended up giving her that flower one instead. So that's a shame, but you know, it's cute. I like how it turned out. And then the last bedroom that we'll see is the brother's bedroom. I haven't got a name for him either yet. I haven't made him yet, but he is going to basically end up being in the military. So he's quite sporty, he's quite active, also probably likes the outdoors as well. So that's how he fits into the family. So they've all got their different interests, but they've also got a common interest as well, which I think is quite nice. They all like being outdoors. And I must say, I am guilty of making all of my Sims love the outdoors, because that's definitely a trait that I would give myself, my Sim self, and I love the outdoors, like I say, so I tend to give all of my Sims the love the outdoors trait. That and cheerful, and what else? Family oriented. Oh my god, I overuse that all the time, but that's because I love playing with families in The Sims, so I want them to be family oriented to reflect that. But we're coming up to the end of the build now, so I'm gonna head off. I really hope you liked it. Let me know what your thoughts of the build were down in the comments below. below. And like I say, I've got a whole playlist full of builds and other content relating to this LP, so I'll link them in the video and down in the description below so you can go and check that out if you want to. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please like, comment and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye guys!